Shards of translucent blue shimmer under the dawn, stretching to the horizon. A forest petrified in crystal, yet alive with the quiet hum of unseen energy. Mira's boots crunch on the splintered crystal roots as she kneels beside a young sapling, wedged between sky-blue boulders. She taps a sliver of glassy bark, her breath misting in the cool air. There is a melody here, she thinks. If only I could hear it. Wind whistles through jagged leaves overhead as her mentor Old Ren approaches with his walking stick trailing echoes over the crystal soil. What do you see, Mira? She frowns, brushing her fingers across the smooth bark. The sap's running fast. The entire grove is restless, Ren. Something's changed. Ren lowers his voice, wary. It's the Merchant Guild. Word is, they're moving in. No one's safe, not now. Mira's jaw tightens. We have to warn them. The spirits, I mean. If the guild takes the forest, they'll kill everything sacred. Old Ren places a trembling hand on her shoulder. How do you expect to do that? You're just a botanist. And those spirits, if they even exist, they haven't spoken in centuries. A distant crack splits the air, sharp as a lightning strike. The ground trembles as if the roots themselves groan underfoot. Light flows through the trees, scattering prismatic sparks across Mira's knuckles. She stands, heart pounding. I'm not giving up. If the spirits once spoke, they can speak again. I'll find a way. Ren hesitates, eyes thoughtful behind his cracked spectacles. Then you're braver than most, or foolhardy. I'm both, Mira replies with a shaky grin. When she looks up, the tallest tree in the clearing pulses with a strange radiance, as if waiting for her. In its reflection, she catches the hope in her face and, for the first time, a hint of destined purpose. Behind them, the first axes of the Merchant Guild flash against the morning sun. The glass forest is waking, and Mira is at the heart of its song. Mira's breath caught as the sky grew darker, not from clouds but from the shadow of strange mechanical balloons drifting above the crystal trees. Ladders dangled from their sides, crewed by men and women in gleaming vests, their eyes hungry for the shimmer below. She ducked behind a spire of amethyst wood, heart racing. Old Ren hobbled after, anxiety painting his voice. We can't stop them, Mira. Not with sticks and hope. She shook her head fiercely. I won't let them destroy what they don't understand. Within the glassy undergrowth, Mira rolled her crystal flute between her fingers. She'd always loved the pure notes it made, but tonight she hoped for more. Legend held that the right melody could awaken the spirits of the forest, if only she could remember the ancient tones Old Ren's grandmother once hummed. As the merchants fanned out, axes gleaming, Mira found herself at the foot of the radiant elder tree. The bark spiraled in waves of color, each pulse in sync with her heartbeat. She pressed the flute to her lips and, hands trembling, blew the first uncertain note. A ripple of light climbed the trunk, coming to rest in the center where, for an instant, a face shimmered, eyes of crystal, mouth glowing gold. Mira gasped. A voice, wind-like and distant yet urgent, whispered in her mind, Who seeks the counsel of the glass? Old Ren scrambled back, eyes wide. It's real, Mira. Spirits. Mira straightened, mustering all her courage. Great Spirit, I am Mira of the village. The guild comes to break your heart, to shatter these roots. What must I do? The face dimmed, flickering like candlelight. The song must be sung where roots entwine and sky meets stone. Only then will the forest answer. Suddenly shouts rang out. Guildsmen had spotted the silver flash of Mira's flute. She ducked as a stone zipped past her head. Old Ren gripped her arm. Run! But Mira hesitated, locking eyes with the faintly glowing visage. Where? Where do I find the beginning of the song? The spirit only uttered, Trust the path unseen. The melody will lead. Hurry. With resignation and a surge of hope, Mira fled with Old Ren, dodging shards and booted feet. Behind them, the spirit's light began to pulse brighter, whispering a promise in every fractured ray. There is more hidden in the glass than anyone knows. Night bled violet across the crystal branches, each surface shimmering with reflected stars. Mira and Old Ren rattled down a secret path, ducking low as the merchants' lanterns bobbed through the glassy thickets. Where do we go? Old Ren hissed, kicking at a tangle of phosphorescent roots. Mira pressed her palm against the flute, feeling a soft vibration. If the spirit's right, the melody will guide us. Hear this? A faint hum thrummed through the crystal, merging into a rising chorus, a sound Mira had never noticed or perhaps never understood. She lifted her flute and played a few soft notes, careful not to echo too loudly. Instantly, the path before her shimmered, revealing a spiral of luminous stones weaving deeper into the woods, their surfaces etched with ancient runes. Ren's jaw dropped. By the roots, the hidden causeway of Eldergrove. No one's seen it in 3 lifetimes. They hurried ahead, guided by the glowing path. Behind them, merchant voices faded, swallowed by the glassy silence. In the heart of the forest, strange shapes took root in the darkness. Gently luminous moths fluttering on wings of silver, deer with translucent hides, and flowers pulsing like embers beneath shifting leaves. Mira's hand trembled. We're close to the place where roots entwine. It has to be the heart tree. Ren nodded, but his voice shook. The closer we come, the more dangerous it gets. Those spirits, some are twisted, vengeful after centuries of silence. I have to try, Mira whispered, eyes wide with resolve. If the guild breaks the heart tree, all the forest's magic will die, and I think part of me will die with it. Footsteps crunched on the crystalline trail behind them. Guild lanterns reappeared, slicing through the dark. Mira played again, this time weaving notes of worry and hope. The stones flared brighter, and the forest itself seemed to move, closing paths and hiding them from view. As they reached the center, a sense of ancient knowing pressed in, a presence older than memory or myth. At the base of the immense heart tree, Mira fell to her knees and played the hardest song she'd ever known, one of longing, fear, and defiance. The melody Mira conjured quivered through the crystalline trunk, sending beams of light darting up its immense height. Old Ren stood guard, his grip white-knuckled on his staff. The air thickened, tinged with the electric scent of ancient power awakening. Voices answered the song. Not the merchant shouts, but a chorus of resonant whispers swirling around Mira. Shapes began to flicker in the air, spirits of the glass trees, luminous as moonlight, faces ageless and sorrowful. They drifted just beyond reach, caught between hope and suspicion. One spirit, taller and brighter than the others, materialized before Mira. Its form was ever-changing, a creature of refracted colors and living light, both dazzling and intimidating. You would rouse us, young root tender? What words can you sing for spirits broken by silence? Mira, throat dry, clutched her flute tightly. I seek your help. The guild means to cut out the heart of the glass forest. If they succeed, all this, your home, your memories, will be lost. The spirit's gaze turned sharp, facets shifting deep within. Why should we trust a mortal child? Old Ren stepped forward, voice trembling but clear. Because she listens, and because she remembers. None in living memory have cared for your kind like Mira. Mira met the spirit's many eyes. I promise I will give everything I have to save you, but I need your strength and the truth this forest hides. The congregation of spirits shifted. Some glided closer, empathy warming their spectral eyes. Others still held back, bitter from centuries of neglect. Yet something in Mira's tone called them. The leader extended a luminous hand, cupping Mira's cheek with a cold but gentle touch. Very well. The hidden origin calls for more than song. If you would defend our home, you must walk the deep mirror where your heart is tested, and learn the cost of our magic. Only then will you wield the power to stand against the invaders. Without waiting, the spirit gestured, and a panel at the tree's base slid aside, revealing a staircase spiraling deep underground, aglow with shifting rainbows. Old Ren caught Mira's arm. You don't have to do this. But Mira brushed his hand away, fear sharpening her purpose. If this is the only way, I will find what the forest needs. Wait for me, Ren, and play a song that keeps hope alive. Mira stepped forward, her shadow dancing in the kaleidoscopic glow, as the entrance sealed behind her with a soft, chiming note. Mira descended the spiral staircase, every step ringing with a crystalline chime that echoed in her bones. Dazzling ribbons of refracted color bounced around her, casting moving patterns across the curved walls. With each turn, the air grew cooler, the magic heavier. The path opened into a cavern lit by a shimmering pool, the deep mirror. Instead of showing her reflection, the surface rippled with memories of the forest. Ancient celebrations, storms survived, and then scenes of loss, flames devouring glass roots, spirits wailing in agony. Mira knelt at the water's edge. She remembered her mother's stories, whispered lullabies about the oldest magic sleeping deep underfoot. Closing her eyes, Mira pressed the flute to her lips and played softly, hoping the music might reveal her heart's truth. Suddenly, the pool flared with a blinding light. Mira staggered, the world spinning. The mirror showed her the past, her as a child, planting a wounded sapling after a storm, her gentle hands healing even the smallest crystal leaves. Next, it showed her future, a vision of devastation if the guild succeeded. Her village charred, the vibrant colors of the forest faded to dull gray. Tears streamed down Mira's cheeks as a voice, rich and powerful, vibrated up from the depths. To protect what lives, you must give of yourself. Are you prepared to share your very spirit with the glass? To feel our sorrow, to know our strength and our pain? Her hands shook, but Mira nodded. I am. I belong to this land as much as any root or leaf. The mirror's surface surged, arcs of rainbow light winding up from the water and wrapping gently around her chest. Every memory, her joys and griefs, fused with the spirit's own longing. Mira felt hopes not her own, grief older than time, and a love so deep it ached to hold all things whole. As the magic settled, soft light pulsing beneath her skin, Mira understood she could now speak for the glass forest itself. Her connection was real, but so was the burden. When Mira touched the water once more, her reflection appeared again, different now. Her eyes glinted with shifting colors, and her voice, when she whispered, sounded like wind through crystal leaves. I am ready, Mira vowed. I will defend us all. Above ground, a distant crash echoed, the sound of axes striking closer. Mira turned back towards the spiral stairs, more determined than ever. A part of her forever changed. Bursting from the heart tree's trunk, Mira felt the world brighter and sharper. Every leaf's tremor, every spirit's fear throbbed within her. Old Wren, waiting beneath the amber glow, stared at her transformed eyes with awe and worry. Mira, is it really you? Mira nodded, her new power glimmering as she spoke. I carry the forest now, Wren. I can feel its pain and its hope. We must act fast. Just then, the shriek of axes splintered the silence. Lanterns glowed among the trees as the Merchant Guild's workers pressed closer, led by a sharp-eyed overseer with gold bands jingling at his wrist. No more hiding, Mira whispered, stepping from the safety of the oldest roots into the open path. Old Wren tugged her sleeve. Be careful. The overseer spotted her and marched forward, voice blaring over the crystal clearing. You, child, this land belongs to the guild. Stand aside or be swept away. Several villagers, rushed in by Old Wren's alarms, gathered tentatively behind Mira. Their courage flickered, less than the defiance in Mira's voice. This is sacred ground. You can't buy what was never for sale. Leave, and you won't be harmed. The overseer laughed, signaling his workers to heft their axes. We have deeds, signatures, and the power to take what we want. Mira raised the flute to her lips. The song she played now was richer, resonant with her bond to the glass. The very forest answered. Branches pulled back, letting sunlight glare in shafts. Roots rose, tangling and tripping the intruders. Spirits, half-seen but fierce, hovered protectively over flower beds, their light growing sharper with each note Mira played. A worker cried out as a vine of crystal snapped his axe in two. The overseer's bravado sputtered, replaced by fearful uncertainty in his eyes. Witchcraft! Stand down or we'll burn it all! Old Wren stepped forward. Do that, he warned, and you'll face the wrath of things older and mightier than gold. The village folk, hearts steeled by Mira's song, closed ranks. The overseer wavered, weighed by his greed and the supernatural rumors that now appeared all too real. Mira's music thrummed stronger, weaving the villagers and the glass spirits together. The first battle lines had been drawn, not just between axe and root, but between those who sought profit and those who protected wonder. And in Mira's heart an ember of hope began to burn. Tension crackled through the luminous glade. Mira's song hung in the air, clashing with the ragged shouts of the guild's men as they tried to force their way forward. The spirits coiled protectively, their shapes flickering between drifts of color and piercing, animal-like eyes. The overseer motioned for his guards. Smash the trees! Show these fools who runs this land. Axes swung, but every blow found only unyielding glass. Roots shifted under the earth, tripping the workers or pinning their boots in place. The glass forest fought back, yet it couldn't stop them all. A crystal limb snapped under a heavy boot, sending a ripple of pain through Mira's entire body. She staggered, clinging to a branch for support. Old Wren was beside her instantly. You must pace yourself, he whispered, worry etched in every line. The power's too much all at once. Mira gritted her teeth. I have to risk it! They won't stop unless I show them the truth. Gritting her teeth, she advanced on the overseer, spirits swirling at her heels. Drawing deep on her connection to the glass, she spoke in a resonant voice that was somewhere between her own and that of the ancient forest. Look at what you're doing. With a sound like shattering wind, Mira conjured illusions from the crystal around her. The air shimmered with visions. The history of the forest from its infancy, how each tree held the memory of hundreds of lives, spirit, animal, and human alike. Images of lost generations and heartbreak, of harmony and hope spun between the thieves and the trees. The villagers stared, transfixed. Some of the guild workers faltered in awe or guilt, weapons slipping from sweating hands. It's beautiful, one of them whispered, stepping back, tears glinting in her eyes. But not all were moved. The overseer scowled, voice shaking. Stories and tricks! None of it matters when gold is at stake. Burn it. If the trees and these villagers stand in your way, burn it all. A spark flew. A torch hurled and caught on a low-hanging bough. Fire licked hungrily along a crystal limb, casting twisted shadows. Mira turned toward the burning branch, fear and desperation threatening to break her song. But the spirits urged her on, their whispers melding with hers. Protect. Endure. Remember who you are. She steadied herself, standing tall in the wavering heat. For the first time, Mira truly believed she could save them, not by herself, but together, with the courage of many, and the power newly awakened in her heart. Flames raced across the crystalline branches, molten sap oozing like rainbows in the night. The spirits screamed, a piercing resonance that made both villagers and merchants cower. Mira's heart hammered with fear, but the echoing pain of the glass forest drove her forward. She rushed to the burning bough, hands shaking, and played a desperate, spiraling note on her flute. The fire guttered where her melody touched, slowed by the surge of pure magic that poured through Mira and into the wounded limb. The song rippled outward, fusing ice blue with fire orange, weaving a barrier against the flames. Old Ren joined her, his voice rising in a frail but steady chant. Any villagers who could play or sing lent their voices too. The spirits, emboldened by the harmony, gathered close, casting their own shimmering lights into the embattled tree. Together, their music grew, no longer just a plea, but a declaration. We stand united. Across the clearing, a few guild workers laid down their axes, struck by the beauty and terror of the moment. Some edged away, unwilling to fight something so evidently sacred. But the overseer, red-faced and howling, pressed those who would obey. Break them! Burn it all before it's too late! The barrier held, but only just. Mira sagged, sweat drenching her brow, voice ragged. An old sapphire-blue spirit hovered by her ear, its words gentle and grave. Child, you have awoken the heart of the glass, but you cannot bear this burden alone. You must draw on the bond, the spirit urged, motioning to the villagers and even the remorseful merchant workers. Only by sharing the power, the sorrow and hope can the forest truly be protected. Mira faltered for a moment, then nodded. She lowered her flute and called to the crowd. All of you, reach out. Put your hand on the trees. Feel what the glass forest feels. We are its spirit now. Hesitant at first, then emboldened by Mira's force of will, hands villager and guild alike pressed to the shimmering bark. The connection roared, a living circuit of memory and power. The fire sputtered, snuffed beneath waves of united song and light, as everyone felt the agony and splendor of the glass forest. Light bloomed brighter than dawn. Mira gazed at the villagers and the shaken workers, tears glimmering in her newly spectral eyes. The overseer was left alone, surrounded by the power of a united land and people. But within the light, an older, starker truth began to pulse from deep below, an origin that had never truly been uncovered. Mira's journey, she realized, was not yet done. The forest settled into an uneasy hush. Villagers and guild workers alike stood stunned, their hands still pressed to the glassy trunks as a faint afterglow faded into the night. Only Mira felt the tremor in the roots, the deep, rhythmic pulsing beneath their feet. Old Ren steadied her, peering into her flickering eyes. You saved us, child. You turned even our enemies into allies. But Mira shook her head, uneasy. The forest's pain is quieter, but it isn't gone. There's something hiding in its heart, a secret even the spirits fear. The ancient spirit, radiant with sapphire and gold, glided forth. You are right, Mira. The surface is healed, but the origin, the wound from which all sorrow springs, is deeper still. If left, it will fester, no matter how brave the song. The words thudded like a warning. Everyone turned to listen as the farthest tree opened, revealing a staircase of spiral obsidian. The spirit beckoned Mira. Beneath the glass lies the first root. Only there can the curse be broken forever. A hush fell. The villagers looked to Mira, fear and trust warring in their eyes. She swallowed, kneeling beside Old Ren. If I go, I might not return. Will you guard them? Old Ren squeezed her hand. We'll keep the song alive, Mira. Find the truth below. The overseer, surrounded and powerless, lowered his head. If any of this is because of our greed, fix it, please. Mira gave him a long look, resolved, not cruel. Greed is only a shadow. The forest's real enemy is forgetting what matters. Taking a last breath of rainbow-flecked air, Mira descended alone. Deep below, the tunnels glimmered with painful memories. A child crying, a sapling burning, an entire world's longing to belong. At the bottom, the cavern opened into a vault of fractured crystal, twisted and raw. Roots blackened with old sorrow writhed at its heart, trapping something. A fragment of light, desperate to get free. Mira felt her body shake. The spirit's whisper rang through the gloom. Face what the glass remembers. Only then can you heal the first root and decide if this forest will live or fade forever. She stepped forward, the weight of generations pressing down, knowing the real battle and the forest's salvation would be decided here. Mira no longer doubted her place. She had brought everyone together. Now, she had to bring healing to the source. The cavern's air shimmered with tension. Mira stood before the first root, a tangle of crystal and shadow, pulsing with the sorrow and longing of centuries. Within it, the trapped fragment of light flickered weakly, desperate to be seen. Mira knelt by the root, pain wringing her chest. The voices of the glass forest, countless lives, joys, and losses, swelled in her heart. She realized what the forest needed wasn't just music or magic, but someone to fully witness its grief and promise never to let it be forgotten again. She played her flute, letting its clear notes fill the vault. But this time, as the magic swelled, she also spoke. I remember you. I remember the sorrow that shaped you, the loneliness, the betrayal, the hope that never died. I am here, not just to take from you or to save you, but to be part of you, forever. The first root twisted, the trapped light surged, then splintered, shattering the black crystal. A wave of dazzling radiance rushed through the cavern and up into the earth, flooding the forest with warmth and color. Above, spirits and villagers alike gasped as new light burst from every tree, healing old wounds in 1,000 sparkling arcs. Mira's body glowed with the forest's power, but instead of being overwhelmed, she felt it settle in her bones, steadfast and calm. The ancient spirit's voice rang out, proud and gentle. You have done what none before you could. You gave yourself without fear or claim of reward, and thus have become part of the glass's heart. Mira stood, her eyes reflecting every color of the glass forest. The first root, now pure and clear, pulsed with life. She walked slowly back up to the surface. As she emerged, dawn broke across the horizon, and the entire forest shimmered, not just beautiful, but alive in a way it had never been. Old Ren embraced her, eyes shining with tears. The villagers, guild workers, and spirits gathered in awe. The overseer, humbled, stepped forward. What happens now, Mira? She smiled, her voice ringing like a chord through the morning light. Now we remember. We protect together. The forest isn't a prize to be won, but a living story that we all share. As long as we honor that, its magic will never fade. And so, the glass forest endured, roots entwined with memory and hope, its song echoing through every heart willing to listen. Mira, the underdog who once doubted her place, had become the guardian and bridge to an ancient, imperishable magic. For the glass forest and all who called it home, the true story was just beginning.